Hi there, Internet. My name's Court, and welcome to the Storyboard Star Wars Celebration Special Edition. A brief rundown of the most interesting news out of last week's celebration in Orlando. Regular episodes of the Storyboard go up every Friday, so be sure to subscribe so you'll always be in the know. There was a lot of cool information that came out of Celebration this year, the most interesting for me at least being everything we got from the last Jedi panel, and I'll get to that later in the video. But first, Star Wars Battlefront II. The previous iteration of Battlefront was released in 2015 to mixed reviews. Gamers praised the animation and the ability to play as some of their favorite characters, but felt disdain for a mostly non-existent story and an incredibly short campaign mode. Interestingly, Battlefront 2 will be set from the Empire's perspective. Gamers will play as a female Imperial officer named Iden in the campaign, which launches just after the destruction of the second Death Star. This new perspective makes sense, as Lucasfilm dabbled with humanizing the enemy with both Finn and, to some extent, Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens. If you're interested in seeing more, I'll leave a link to the game's trailer in the description below. Furthermore, the game will be released alongside a companion novel called Battlefront II Inferno Squad, which will be written by Christie Golden, just in case you want to go deep. Star Wars Rebels. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but I've never really gotten into the properties outside of the movies, though I vaguely remember watching Ewoks and Droids as a kid and being forced to watch the holiday special by my stupid friend Mayor. I've seen clips of both Rebels and the Clone Wars, and while they do look good, they aren't for me. But I know people who absolutely adore Rebels, and to those of you who feel that way, this may be a bummer, but the upcoming 4th season will be the final series of the show. However, showrunner Dave Filoni will be allowed to end it on his own terms, which can only be for the best. Carrie Fisher tributes. There were a couple tributes to the late Carrie Fisher during the celebration, the first during the 40 Years of Star Wars panel, and the second being an hour-long celebration of her life hosted by Mark Hamill. Both were quite touching. The first, during the 40-year panel, included a video with behind-the-scenes footage of Miss Fisher on set, as well as candid photos and even interviews with her later in life. At the conclusion of the reel, a curtain rose, and there was John Williams with the Orlando Philharmonic Orchestra, who then played Leia's theme. You might even call it a Leia motif? I'm not gonna lie, I was rolling some tears. It was pretty powerful. Mark Hamill's tribute was far more candid. Having already done a couple of panels and who knows how much talking and shouting with the crowds, he was suffering from some laryngitis, making it sound like he was constantly on the verge of crying, until he started reading the memorial that he wrote a week after her passing, admitting that he wasn't sure he could do it. He did actually break down a little. Hamill also brought out Wicket the Ewok himself, Warwick Davis, who was 11 years old at the time they were filming Jedi, and he talked about how Carrie Fisher was always looking out for him on set and became something of a surrogate mom for him. Hamill finished the memorial with an image he sees in his head of Carrie looking down at him from above and giving him the finger. If that doesn't sum up her persona, I don't know what will. Just a few quick things before we get to The Last Jedi. Billy D. Williams. We all know that a young Lando Calrissian will be featured in the upcoming Han Solo flick, played by Donald Glover, but according to Billy D. Williams himself, he won't be a part of Episode 8. Recently, Carrie Fisher's brother Todd announced to the media that the Fisher family were okay with Lucasfilm using Carrie's General Leia in the final film of the new trilogy, and that she would be included, likely with footage cut from The Last Jedi. However, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy announced that Carrie, and I'm using air quotes purposefully, would not appear in the as-yet untitled third installment in the new trilogy. Does that mean that Leia won't be in the film? Probably. But Kennedy left herself just enough wiggle room by saying Carrie, not Leia. It is a possibility that the character will be recast, for better or for worse. Time will tell. Okay, Last Jedi time. Let's talk about the poster first. The poster was played for jokes at Star Wars Celebration, as though it would be the only big reveal. While it wasn't, the reveal started with the faces of Luke and Kylo Ren bisected in red, before the video zoomed out to reveal Rey at the bottom wielding Anakin's lightsaber. It's a good poster. The Last Jedi teaser. Finally, we have footage from Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. At 2 minutes and 12 seconds, it's a great little teaser that doesn't really give us much story, but thrusts us back into the world of the new trilogy. It opens with what looks like a starscape, but as we come into focus, we find that it's actually just a rock reflecting sunlight, as Rey collapses upon it, perhaps after an extreme training regimen or perhaps another vision. We see clips of Luke training Rey, some cool land and space battles, and finally a silhouette of Luke saying, "It's time for the Jedi to end," before closing on a blood-red Star Wars logo with ominous music. I did a trailer reaction for it, and I'll leave a link in the description if you'd like to see it. The hype is real, my friends. John Boyega gave us an update on Finn's character, mentioning that he starts the film still in recovery from his injury during battle with Kylo Ren, but goes on to say he's not playing this time. I expect that Finn and Rey's journeys will be kept separate through most of this flick, but he'll no doubt have himself an adventure. It was also revealed what character Star Wars newcomer Kelly Marie Tran would be playing. Tran will be playing Rose, who works maintenance for the Resistance, and, according to writer-director Rian Johnson, she'll be going along with Finn on that adventure we talked about earlier. I think it's very possible that Rose and Finn may get up to a bit of canoodling, but we'll have to wait until December to see. Finally, Rey is Luke's daughter, confirmed. Nah, I'm just joking. But here, check it out.
And by the way, I look down and, I see Olaf, I see Wonder Woman, I see God, I see my colleague, Daisy.
Oh, Mark Hamill, what a joker. But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters. The real final piece of news does concern Rey and Luke, and it's something that Daisy Ridley said. Don't meet your heroes because they may not be what you expect. I'm really looking forward to seeing what their dynamic will be. That's the Storyboard Star Wars Celebration Special Edition. What did you think of the teaser trailer, the poster, the news? Whatever your thoughts, hit the comments below and let's discuss. Please like and share this video, and you can subscribe to this channel by clicking the Court Shake logo at the bottom right of your screen. New regular episodes of the Storyboard every Friday. Thanks very much for watching, and may the Force be with you, always.